just a little bit late. We ran
Oh, wait.
over,
Okay, I'm sorry.
we ran over closed session a little bit. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Fullerton Joint Union High School District and invite Jenna Binding, if you would lead us in the flag salute, Jenna, please.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't think I need to take attendance, Ms. Harder, because we've indicated that everybody is present. I would just like to let everyone know that we will be voting by roll call vote for the rest of the meeting. Okay. Is there any correspondence that any board members would like to acknowledge? Seeing none, we will move on to 2.4, which is approval of the agenda. There is an amendment to the agenda, item 6.2.3, which is regarding employment of short-term employees. And a copy of that resolution is available on the district website under News and Announcements Dashboard Meeting. So with that amendment to the agenda, I would look for a motion to approve.
I move to approve the agenda.
And I second it.
Sorry, Vicki.
Oh, that's okay, Lauren. I second it.
Okay, it was moved by Joanne, seconded by Vicki. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor of approving the agenda as amended, please say aye. Or we need a roll call vote.
And we do
Sorry.
a roll call vote, yes.
And actually, first of all, I would like to ask Jenna if she would like to do her preferential vote.
I approve.
Okay,
Ms. Harder?
we'll take a roll call vote then. Mrs. Bushey,
Aye.
Ms. Klatsker,
Aye.
Ms. Foley,
Aye.
Dr. Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Jang.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a call for motion and a second to approve the following minutes. I think we can take them all together since we were all present. That would be January the 12th, January 26th, and February 2nd. Is there a motion to approve these three?
Move approval.
Moved by Lauren Klatsker, seconded by Chester Jang. Ms. Harder, we need a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Mrs. Bushey,
Aye.
Ms. Klatsker,
Aye.
Ms. Foley,
Aye.
Dr. Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Jang.
Aye.
And I'm sorry, Jenna, I forgot to ask you. We need your preferential vote if you'd like to.
It's all good. I approve.
Okay, thank you. I'll get this. I will get this right. All right. Next on the agenda is our student board member report. Jenna, you're on.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Scambray, President Bucci, and members of the board. This is my student board member report for January. As a whole, the Student Advisory Council has been working on many district-wide events. On January 15th, we held our annual SAC Symposium event via Zoom. We worked with the organization Leadership Inspirations to put on the event, emphasizing empathy and community building. On that day, ASB members across the district collaborated to come up with many innovative ideas to implement on their own campuses, and our networking sessions gave students the opportunity to connect with each other during a time when new friendships are hard to make. Our ASB students are now better equipped to lead their student bodies, and we're happy to see new ideas already becoming realities. SAC is now collaborating with Rotary and Flock to put on a Fullerton's Got Talent district-wide talent show. The event is set to take place on April 24th and will most likely be held via Zoom. We're currently looking into other streaming options to find the best virtual format for the event. Each school has either already hosted or will be hosting their own talent show within the next month, and the top 2 to 3 winners from each school will be featured in the main event. Buena Park High School accepted talent show video submissions from January 8th to February 5th and have a panel of judges selecting their winners. Fullerton held their own winter talent show back in December, so their winners will be participating. La Habra High School has assigned an ASB committee to the event and are currently in the planning process of their talent show. Sonora will be recruiting for their show on Instagram, and their student body will vote for a top talent via Google Forms. Sunny Hills is transforming their own Conservatory of the Fine Arts, or COFA, quad show into their own version of a talent show that will take place on March 12th. Troy High School is submitting the winners from their annual Warrior Idol and will also be opening up the option to participate for non-singing acts via Instagram in the upcoming weeks. Tomorrow, we're having our February SAC meeting, and as our host, La Vista ASB has been working diligently to plan a leadership lesson and activity for the meeting. In light of the previous hybrid model conversation that took place at the last board meeting, we are also having a discussion about the many strengths as well as the small areas for improvement of the hybrid model from students' perspectives, and will be emphasizing the importance of speaking up if you see something going wrong or rules not being followed. Thank you, and this concludes my student board member report for January.
Okay, thank you, Jenna. Are there any comments from any of the board members? Jenna, I would like to comment. I think that's wonderful that you have the students giving input to the hybrid model. In fact, right after our last board meeting, we got a couple of really good emails from students with suggestions. You know, you guys are in the trenches with the teachers, and both of you, both of those groups certainly have good input to give us. So thank you for doing that. And I'm excited about the talent show. It looks like this would be something we can all see a lot easier than it was in the past. So please make sure that the board gets to know about this.
All right, I'll definitely update you guys and get you guys the Zoom link for that.
Thank you for your report. Okay, next on the agenda is our school reports. Dr. Scambray, would you like to introduce your folks?
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Bucci. First up, from Fullerton Union, Principal Laura Rubio.
Thank you, and good evening, Dr. Scambray, President Bucci, members of the board. I'm happy to announce that our teachers are continuing to try their best to give our students great experiences, even if they are virtual. Our JRTC is one of those programs. The cadets of Fullerton competed against over 3,000 schools nationwide in the Academic Bowl and Leadership Bowl. Both teams qualified to advance to the next level of competition. Round 2 will be held February 15th through March 5th and will determine who participates in the National Championship in June of 2021. Highlighted is Cadet Kylie Gong, who took 3rd in the state's VFW Voice of Democracy contest. This year, the theme was, "Is this the country the founders envisioned?" Kylie had to first win the local post and district level in order to compete at the state level, where she competed against 51 participants. Kylie will receive a certificate, a check for an undisclosed amount, and a JRTC medal and ribbon for her JRTC uniform. Congratulations to Kylie and our entire JRTC program. And speaking of programs Kylie is involved in, coincidentally, the Fullerton Union Speech and Debate program hosted its first online tournament with great success. We also have competitors in our regional tournament at the Orange County Speech League. From the 2 tournaments, we had a freshman newcomer, Evelyn Ishikawa, place 3rd at the Winter Classic for program oral interpretation. We also had a true warrior in Kennedy Hetz. She placed 1st in the informative category, not once, but twice. Once at the Winter Classic and at OCSL the next day. She competed in an astounding 16 rounds over 2 days. Congratulations to the entire speech and debate team and on their hard work and perseverance. Last week was National Counseling Week, and I would like to thank our amazing counseling department. We depend on them greatly in every aspect of running our school, and they have been the backbone of our student outreach. Hopefully you are all enjoying the brain breaks that they have helped create, along with the help of many teachers and students for every week. And we do have amazing counselors and guidance techs at FUHS. And with that, thank you. And that concludes my board report.
Thank you, Laura. Before I go on, I want to thank the principals and all the support staff there for keeping the students connected during COVID. They've really stepped it up with the newsletters and everything, and all the activities and doing whatever they can to keep the kids connected. And very important during this time. So really appreciate all the work that you've put into that, guys. Next up from Sonora, Marvin Adkins.
Thank you, Dr. Scambray. Good evening, Board President Bushi, board members, and Dr. Scambray. In the spirit of Valentine's Day and love, the Sonora community is showing our love and care for our Raiders in so many ways. Our staff, teachers, and classified members have all made videos for our seniors for our favorite memories of them, words of encouragement, or even their favorite senior year experience. We will post these videos to our social media and include them in the weekly newsletter. Our JRTC program is showing their love for our elderly and veterans by writing letters to them on Friday, February 26th. Our counseling department, and like Mrs. Rubio said, it's just an amazing backbone that we have with all of our schools. They are working very hard on making sure that our student body is registering for their classes for next year online through Google Forms as smooth and as seamless as possible. I want to be sure to send our appreciation to Mia Bergman, who is headed to Cal State Fullerton on a full athletic scholarship for cross country. We also have appreciation for Alyssa Areola, one of our IB seniors, for being asked to participate with doctors from the University of California, San Francisco, California, Social Resource Database to help them compile data for COVID-19 research. Thank you for your time and attention to this report, and this concludes Sonora's report.
Thank you, Marvin. Next up from Troy, Will Minster.
Thank you, Dr. Scambray, President Bushi, and members of the board. We are excited to host our first athletic contest last week with our cross-country meet with Sonora. Unfortunately for us, we lost. However, our student athletes enjoyed success in being able to compete. We have another meet tomorrow with Sunny Hills, so perhaps this will be our first athletic victory of the year. In cybersecurity news, in the Cyber Patriot competition, Troy teams have received recognition. Team 5, and that is their name, Team 5 are state champions in the gold tier. Team Cyber Alpha are state runners-up in the platinum tier, and that's the top 30% of all teams. And they go on to compete in the nationals. Troy teams that will be competing in the Cyber Patriot Nationals being held virtually on March 20th and 21st are teams Runtime Terror in the All Service Division, also state champions, and Team 13-14-40 in the Open Division. Congratulations to all these dedicated and hardworking students and their coach, Alan Stubblefield. We are looking forward to seeing more of our students and teachers on campus again next week as we return to hybrid learning. Thank you to our parents, teachers, counselors, student support staff, superintendent, cabinet, and board for always supporting Troy High School and helping us keep doing what is best for our kids. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Will. Next up from La Vista La Sierra, Sandy Leona.
Thank you, Dr. Scambray, President Bushi, members of the board. February is a busy month for the Lion Pride. Although our traditional community college fair and adult transition program careers event had to be canceled due to COVID, our teams are working diligently to bring these post-secondary vendors to our students via Zoom. Our La Vista La Sierra seniors have participated in or are scheduled to attend Fullerton and Cypress Community College application financial aid workshops, an NOCE presentation on CTE programs, and workshops to enroll our Fullerton College After School Counseling 140 course and our Counseling 150 course, which occurs during the school day and allows our seniors to earn high school and college credit concurrently. Virtual Careers Day events for our ATP students include Regional Center, Department of Rehab, SSI, the State Council on Disabilities, Orange County Youth Center, My Day Counts, Goodwill, and Project Search so far. Next, in an effort to motivate and support our fragile learners, we have developed a phone tree where every La Vista, Opportunity, and Kate Waller-Barrett Academy student gets a weekly phone call or email from a staff member. This seems to be motivating our students, and speaking for myself, my communication with my phone tree students that are assigned to me is the highlight of my week. Currently, our EL and intervention liaisons, along with a team of 13 paraprofessionals, are knee-deep in proctoring 216 LPAC tests online. We will take the lessons that we learned from this virtual exam experience and apply them to the future online standardized tests that are surely in our future. And in closing, the La Vista La Sierra Open House is scheduled for Thursday, February 18th, and we invite you all to Zoom in as we celebrate the students, programs, and clubs that make our continuation alternative school so special. Thank you, and that concludes the La Vista La Sierra report.
Thank you, Sandy. Next up from La Habra, Matt Eels.
Thank you very much, Dr. Scambray, President Bushi, and members of the board. This month's report from La Habra High School is about celebration. Highlanders want to congratulate our teacher and employee of the year from LHHS, Mr. Eric Goley and Mrs. Paula Wheeler. Although English teacher Mr. Goley is only in his third year at La Habra High School, he has made quite an impact on our school community. Mrs. Wheeler continues to be a positive and welcoming face in the front office. Also celebrating our Parenting OC nominees and selections for this year for Parenting OC magazine. Our top employee of the year is a top 10 candidate, and it is Roberto Rodriguez. And our teacher of the year for Parenting OC is a top 25 candidate, and that's Mr. Charles Chuck Fanning. We continue with the trend of celebration into our students, and we have begun celebrating our students once again with our department students of the month that we are excited to be kicking off again. In our High-Arts department, Ashley Zarate in 12th grade. In our NJROTC group, 10th grader Efren Duenas. In world language, 11th grader Oscar Rosales. English is 12th grader Bobby Molinar. In math, 10th grader Reagan Dodero. In social science, 11th grader Emily Felix. In PE, 12th grader Ben Sanchez. In ROP, 12th grader Michaela Lombardi. In ag, our 10th grader Alex Rodriguez. And in science, 10th grader Gabriel Medal. We are super excited to celebrate all of these individuals, as well as celebrating our cross-country athletes this last week as we began competition again for the first time since March of last year. And it was exciting to see them out there. Our girls varsity team brought home a win, and we also had senior John Gonzalez on the boys' side finish first for the boys. We are excited to return to hybrid learning this next week, and we had a great time celebrating our counselors, our 4 incredible counselors this last week in Counselors Week, and we thank them for all of their work and dedication to our students during these times. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Matt. Next up from Buena Park, Sanji Berg.
Thank you, Dr. Scambray, President Bushi, and members of the board. So Matt was going off of celebrations as his theme, so mine is on recognitions. So I'd first like to recognize our classified and certificated staff members of the year. Sean Arslanian is our tech guru, and boy, has he made everything just hum at Buena Park during this pandemic time period. And then our teacher of the year is Robert Shetland. He is our band director and has taken a program and just absolutely made it blossom over his tenure at Buena Park High School. So very well deserved for both gentlemen. And you can see the surprise unveiling in our PAC news if you want to watch that. So that's part of my newsletter. And then next, I'd like to recognize our amazing counseling staff. We had some really fun things planned for them last week, and we'll be continuing with that because we weren't able to get all of them to campus, but we'll be continuing with that shortly. But they are 4 amazing ladies that really do wonderful things for our students and are always there for them. You know, it's been a great last couple of weeks. We actually had a first at Buena Park High School, so I'd like to recognize our esports team. So it's a newly formed group over the last year, and they participated in the preseason invitational, and they actually made a great run through semifinals and placed 3rd overall. So this was something new for us and a great start for this group on campus. And then kicking off the athletic season with our boys and girls cross country program. And so we need to recognize our girls who came away with a victory. And hopefully both programs are going to build off of their CIF run, no pun intended, from last year, and a 3rd place league finish. And then to recognize our girls basketball program, even off the court, led by Coach DeAnthony Wiley. They recently completed a card writing campaign for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. And so the girls spent time sending Valentine's Day cards to the children at the hospital and helping to lift their spirits this month. So that's a great example of our students in service to others. And then recognizing all of our arts folks with all of their wonderful paintings and drawings and 3D art designs that they have currently in the Muckenthaler. I'm really excited for them, and we'll see how well they do. And then lastly, I'm recognizing my classified staff at Buena Park High School. This last month and a half, and if you know Buena Park, we are very busy in the beginning of the year, and they have just done an amazing job really just being that wonderful face to the community and really helping Buena Park become a destination school for all students. And so that concludes my February board report.
Thank you, Sanji. Next up and last, but certainly not least, Sunny Hills Principal, Alan Whitten.
Thank you, Dr. Scambray, President Bushy, members of the board. I shared this in our weekly newsletter, but I think it's worth mentioning again how proud we are of our student athletes who signed their letters of intent last week. One of our central goals is to open as many doors as possible for our students post-high school, with some students opting to go directly into the workforce, such as our automotive engineering students who earn the coveted NATEF certifications and earn great pay going straight into the workforce, or our graphic design students who can go directly into high-paying jobs, to our student athletes who are signing on with colleges, including Ivy League colleges some of the time, to pursue higher education while competing in the sports they love. We're thrilled that we can open those doors and any door in between at Sunny Hills. In anticipation of restarting the hybrid model next week, we held a very productive leadership meeting this afternoon where we reviewed our safety protocols and procedures, and we're ready to go back and look forward to seeing some of our students back on campus, and of course our staff and all of our faculty. I'd like to once again thank our district mental health coordinator, Carlos Alcantara, for all he is doing to support the mental health needs of our campus, from meeting with student groups, teachers, and even our PTSA. He's doing a great job connecting our kids to the supports available in FJUHSD. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, principals. Great job as usual.
Thank you, Dr. Scambray and principals. Any questions or comments of the principals from any of the board members? Okay, seeing none. Jenna, you have no comments, questions? Okay. All right, that takes us now to updates from employee and PTA associations. And first, I believe we have comment from FSTO President Angie Senkak. Linda, you'll let her in.
Thank you. Good evening, President Bushy, members of the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Scambray. The negotiating team representing Fullerton Secondary Teachers Organization was finally able to meet with the district's negotiating team on Wednesday, February 3rd. This was the first meeting in which both sides began looking at the collective bargaining agreement, which expired on June 30th, 2020. We did take time to discuss the extension of the recently expired Families First Coronavirus Response Act. The district shared with our team that they do intend to continue supporting necessary leaves that would have been covered by the federal FFRCA through the end of the school year, and we appreciate their support with this matter during this ongoing pandemic situation. An agreement was also reached on one of the 4 proposals FSTO shared with the district, Article 26, Procedures for Reporting Child Abuse. We expect that the district will share with us their counter proposals on the 3 additional proposals submitted by FSTO. Article 3, Definitions, Article 15, Association Rights, and Article 16, Representation Fee. Our next negotiating session is scheduled for Thursday, February 18th. We still have a long way to go before we reach a full agreement, as the entire contract is open for negotiation this year. On February 16th, Trustee Foley and President Bucci will be guests at the Representative Council meeting for our FSTO members, and we thank you both for agreeing to attend. Dr. Calhoun will be joining us on March 16th. We look forward to meeting with our trustees and having the opportunity to ask questions. We also encourage you to ask questions of our members. We like to talk. Trustee Jang and Trustee Klatzker, we still have an opportunity for you to both join one of our remaining Representative Council meetings before the school year ends, and we would appreciate the opportunity to meet with you both. Check your emails. Thank you for all your time this evening, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Angie. Next, we have the president of CSEA, Joe Sliker.
Hello, Dr. Scambray, President Bucci, board members, staff, and community. I wanted to thank President Bucci, board member Fowley, Dr. Atkinson, and Dr. Kaufman for representing the school district and attending our chapter's officer installation ceremony on January 23rd. Our district had more administrators and board members than any other district in Orange County, and that speaks volumes to me and our members. I also wanted to acknowledge the district's respectful and cooperative manner in our ongoing negotiations of the final year of our current contract. I am confident we will come to a tentative agreement very soon. Lastly, I want to tell the students, parents, and teachers who choose to physically come back to school on Tuesday, your classrooms will be clean and the campuses will be safe as possible. If you choose not to return just yet, then the technology will still be available to deliver instruction at your home. Regardless of what you decide to do, classified staff will be here to support you in any way we can, because that's what classified staff do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joe. It was fun to be at your event, but it's much more fun in person, and we miss lunch.
Absolutely, and we get to feed you, right? Exactly.
That's right, but we came even without food, right? All
Yes,
right.
you did. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Hart, I believe we have a message from the PTA Council. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'd like to read it for you. This is from the co-presidents Wendy Reed and Christy Carter from the Fullerton Council PTA Board. So I will read what they've wanted to report. Good evening, everyone. We again hope that everyone is safe and healthy and looking forward to being back on campus next week. PTA is rolling right along with some normal activities and events. Each of our units are getting ready to hold elections for the next year's board, including us at council. We are also looking forward to participating virtually in the Sacramento Safari in a couple of weeks. This is a great couple of days to hear from our legislators about what bills are being introduced that may help students and families, as well as giving us a chance to speak to our representatives about what is important to our students here in Fullerton. Fullerton Council PTA just announced our Honorary Service Award recipients for the 2019-2020 year to 2 very deserving ladies. Shannon Bauserman, the office manager at Laguna Road Elementary, and Rosie Cabral, the PTSA president at Buena Park High School. Both Shannon and Rosie have gone above and beyond for their school communities, positively impacting the lives of students, families, and staff. Thank you, ladies, for all that you continue to do. We are also excited to announce that we have 2 Fullerton students who are moving on to the state level for the PTA Reflections Art Contest. Chloe B. from Fern Drive Elementary in music composition, and Savannah C. from Rolling Hills Elementary in dance choreography. Fullerton Council PTA is very proud of these young artists. Thank you, and hopefully we will see you soon.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
And looking ahead, I see that we have no public comments other than the comments that you just.
Correct. Yeah, we have no public comments were submitted tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is item 5, which is several reports. And first is 551, which is a report on the 2020 summer school. And I think that might be Dr. Zener, is that correct?
Yes, yes. Good evening, President Bushi, members of the board, and Dr. Scambray, and our guests. Thank you for the opportunity to present the 2020 summer school report to you this evening. Next slide. Our district served just over 5,200 students in our summer school for 2020. As you can see, each site had strong enrollment in both the first and second session. Next slide. In addition, we also had very healthy health classes. We served over 1,700 students through the APEX online program. Next slide. We offer a combination of remedial, repeat only, and advancement courses for our students. And as always, we follow the state and county guidelines and require all teachers to be credentialed in the subject area that they teach. Next slide. We focus our summer school course offerings in the core curricular areas, as well as some unique electives and some graduation requirements, such as Spanish, health, and drawing and painting, and the Troy Tech internship. Next slide. Our criteria for enrollment in our district summer school includes district students only. Students must make up a failed course before taking an elective course for advancement. Our 9th grade students must show advanced proficiency in Algebra 1 before taking geometry. And our 9th grade students who were not promoted or scored far below basic or below basic must enroll in their school's academic readiness program. Next slide. Our student survey, these are the results that we conduct every summer. The majority repeated a failed class, while the next highest number included making room in their schedule for another class. Next slide. Our expenses for the 2020 summer school, including special education, was just under $800,000. Next slide. And our recommendations for the 2021 summer school program include develop the 2021 summer school program reflecting the successful experiences of previous years and serve those who were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So we are on target to fill the graduation requirements for all of our students. To continue offering 2 3-week sessions at each comprehensive school site. To add an additional 2-week session at La Vista and La Sierra. To carefully consider course offerings at each site and consider consolidation of courses when appropriate. Continue to offer English 1, 2, and 3 for repeat credit only. Continue early staffing to ensure timely hiring of qualified teachers. To continue increased supervision of all instructional programs to enhance quality. To continue to implement criteria for admission into specific courses, such as Read 180, Algebra 1, and Geometry. To carefully monitor expenditures. To continue with reduced extended school year at 5 weeks or 20 days in accordance with our education code requirements. And to offer the 2-week health course as an online APEX course for all students needing health credits. Next slide. This concludes the 2020 summer school report. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the recommendation for the 2021 summer school starting June 1st, 2021. There will be 2 3-week sessions, Monday through Thursday, on each comprehensive campus, a 20-day session for extended school year on the campuses with adequate enrollment, 1 4-week session at La Vista and La Sierra High Schools, and 1 2-week session, and 1 6-week session for iSierra Online Academy. Finally, in closing, as our summer school principals have heard repeatedly, we must stay flexible during these times as we don't know yet what format our 2021 summer school program will be offered. We are considering a synchronous, distance, or hybrid, or in person, depending on the numbers and the protocols given to us by the county and the state as we get closer into the spring and closer to the beginning of the 2021 summer school program. Thank you, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Zener. Any board members have any comments or questions? Joanne, please.
Oh, thank you very much. You mentioned COVID and the flexibility, and then for the health curriculum, is there anything that's being added? I know that in the beginning of the year, I had to teach some COVID-specific lessons that were relatively short that apparently the state had either mandated or recommended. Has there been adaptations either to the regular, or will there be adaptations, to this upcoming summer? Just curious.
Specifically with the Apex Health course?
Correct.
We are actually having a meeting with Apex in 2 weeks where we review their modules and any changes they've made to the course before we offer training to our teachers. So I should be able to answer that for you, Mrs. Foley, in about 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Dr. Zener, will you clarify for me extended school year again?
Yes, that is our summer school our special ed program for our summer school students with IEPs.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then one other question. I've heard discussions about, again, addressing learning loss, that summer school might be an opportunity to help with that, and that there would be additional money from the state relative to that. Have we, at this point, we don't know how many students are going to want to go to summer school, how many teachers are going to be willing to teach summer school, but has there been discussion about a greater need probably than we've had in past years?
You're absolutely right, the greater need, and you're correct. We don't know yet how many students will be registering. We don't know how many of our staff will be willing to teach. As far as money, as you know, we are not funded typically in summer school, and I have not heard yet if that will be different for this summer.
I heard some discussions at one of the seminars that I was in, but nothing definitive, so, okay.
Ms. Bushey, there's been several discussions and talked about at the state level, but we haven't heard anything definitive yet, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay, thank you, Dr. Zener. Our next is an action item, which is the authorization or approval of the 2021 summer school. I would look for a motion to approve the plan as presented by Dr. Zener.
I move to approve the plan.
Second. Okay, moved by Joanne Foley, seconded by Lauren Klatzker. Any discussion? Jenna Binding, would you like to give your preferential vote?
I approve.
Okay. And Mrs. Harder, we need a roll call vote, please.
Okay. Mrs. Bushey?
Aye.
Ms. Klatzker,
Aye.
Ms. Foley,
Aye.
Dr. Calhoun,
Aye.
and Dr. Jang.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next on our agenda is the facilities update. And Todd Butcher, there's all kinds of stuff still going on all at these campuses, all your work. And I believe we're going to get an update from you this evening.
Yes, you are. Good evening, Dr. Scambray, President Bushy, members of the board. It is my pleasure this evening to give you a brief update on facilities. And yes, even though these troubling times with COVID, our facilities team and construction department have moving full speed ahead. And with that, I'll get started. Next slide, please. So the initial one, if the first slide here that you see is our July 14th cash flow. And if you can see it on the bottom of your screen, unfortunately, I cannot. You'll see the change from there to the next slide. We've increased about $6 or $7 million. And where this increase is from is we've adjusted the budgets based off of the funding that we have received from the state. So that's where that increase is. So even though we're hitting 190 million, the following slides will explain where the additional funds are coming from. Next slide, please. This gives you the total overview of all of our projects that are eligible for state funding and where they're at in the process. And on the next slide, it gives us a blow up for you to see. Next slide, please. That you can see that Sunny Hills Gym and Troy High School gym modernization, that a little over $6 million has been received. The funding release you can see on the right-hand page, that money has already been received by the district. Down in the lower left corner, you'll see that Fullerton Auditorium, those funds, the funding release has already been submitted, and we should be receiving the $6.3 million should be coming to the district in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And then the Fullerton High School gymnasium, at $5.3 million, we should be receiving March or April of 2021. If you look at the bottom left, the second from the left column, that's at 22 million. So you can see that even though we're over our 175 million bond allocation, that's where the additional funds are coming from, is all state dollars. Next slide, please. Next up, we'll give you some updates on the current construction projects. Next slide. Gymnasium, before you can see as it was on the left, and on the right, you'll see, you can tell that the ceiling has been painted, the ductworks are in, and they're starting to, this was the disassembly of the floor. All of the flooring is now is in the building and being acclimated. The air conditioners are on and running, and that project is moving right along. Next slide. Buena Park, I know you haven't had a chance to go out and take a swim in the new pool, but you can see the before and the after pictures. That's another beautiful project that's been completed during this COVID situation. Next slide. Fullerton High School gym, you can see before the way it looked and the way it is currently. Now that we have the old gymnasium down, that wall, we have to build an additional new wall up against the locker rooms that will protect the edge of those buildings. So that work is being designed right now and will be forthcoming to get that installed. Next slide. Fullerton new gymnasium. You can see that the flooring is in, it's laid out, being acclimated, and is being started to be installed. You can see all the lights are on, the projectors are hung. That red line you see down through there is the dividing screen that splits the gymnasium in half so that they can be having 2 full games at any time. You can see that the building has been painted. on the right, and they are starting to do the site work around the perimeter for all the concrete and the access points into the facility. Next slide. The Fullerton Team Room, and if you recognize where that's located, it's located inside the stadium proper in the triangle zone, way back in the corner up against Berkeley Avenue. So this facility is ready to be opened in just a couple of weeks. So I know some of our athletic folks are really looking forward to their new facility, and it is air conditioned, so our kids won't be sweating in there while they're changing their uniforms. Next slide, please. District-wide solar. You can, if you drive up at Sunny Hills, you'll start to see the columns being erected, and on the right, Troy, the solar panels are there. This will continue on for the next several months as they go through and do the electrical. They've done a pretty good job with the construction. We've got good crews out there working away, so we're moving along, even though we're a little bit behind in the construction schedule due to Borrego trying to get their leasing agreement, and we are addressing that with Borrego. Next slide. Sonora. New pool, you can see the existing pool, and then that would be a rendering of a 30-meter pool that'll go into that existing facility right where they're at. You can tell that they're quite landlocked on that facility, so that'll be a challenging project, but a very exciting one to get a new pool for those students at Sonora. Next slide, please. You can see the existing pool at La Habra High School, and this is a rendering on the right. We're anticipating this project being approved by DSA, which is the Division of State Architects, any day now. And we're anticipating starting to advertise in the upcoming weeks and start construction in probably April. Next slide. Our proposed remaining projects, as you can see, I tried to shorten up that big cash flow list so you can see that we have La Habra Theater, Science, Aquatics Facility, Fullerton Auditorium, Kitchen Modernization, Science Classroom, Fullerton Pool, Sonora Gym, the Science Classroom, and their pool, as I discussed, Buena Park Kitchen and Sunny Hills Kitchen. Next slide, please. So at this point, I'll offer any questions. I will let the board know that in the upcoming weekly WIBLs, we're getting down to the last round of funding dollars, and we're starting to look at every last dollar. So in working with conjunction with the business department, as we get further details on the budgets, as they get bid and awarded, we'll be able to wind down, and we'll be giving the board some options for the remaining projects if we end up into a shortfall. So I'll take any questions if the board members have them.
Thank you very much, Todd. Any board members have any comments or questions of Mr. Butcher?
Yes, Marilyn, I do. This is Joanne. I think you answered in your final last couple sentences there, Mr. Butcher. Based on what you know today, does it look like we're going to have the funding between state money and our bond revenues to do what we approved to finish out the remaining projects when we approved that last summer?
Yes, but we're getting very close. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you I was concerned about the economy, the way it's going, whether the construction costs go higher or lower. You can tell right now when you go to the gas pumps that gas is going up, so that will affect some of our dollars. Steel is going up. So as we monitor this, the one thing I apologize, on my previous slide, I did not discuss the remaining, I think it's about $3.8 million that won't be funded until 2022. So as we go through this, we don't really need any decisions now, obviously, because we at least have another year to process this so we get the remaining dollars from the state. But yes, that is a possibility.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Actually, mine was similar to Ms. Foley's. I know the money that you had, other potential money on your list is coming in now from the state, the bond, which is good. It seems to me, would we need to be prioritizing before we actually run out of money? I mean, is that something you'll be looking forward in the next, say, 6 months or something?
Yes, that's the information I'll start to provide you in the upcoming weekly board reports.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any other hands. Okay, thank you very much, Todd. It's really, I did drive by Troy to look at the solar panels because, you know, I wanted them to look pretty. So,
How'd I do?
well, they're pretty good, but I think right now it's just the steel and it looks a little rough, but I'm expecting them to get prettier. Is that true?
The schools picked out the colors of the steel columns so that they'll start matching the
Oh,
appearance.
that's good. I knew there would be something like that happening. So thank you for that. It'll be good when we get that all in place. And I had asked the question about the parking lot surfaces. We are going to fix the surfaces after they've installed the panels. So that'll be good.
That's correct. And with the deferred maintenance funds, our goal is to replace the parking lot at Sonora and Buena Park by June 30th.
Okay. You know, this isn't part of your report, but in the consent calendar, there was a modernization of the transportation center. Is that the big warehouse there that?
That's phase 2. We've done the admin. Now the back half of that, it was always designed to be in 2 phases so that they could still conduct business. So we moved them out of the first phase, constructed the first phase, moved them back into there. Now we're back to do the second phase.
Okay, I didn't realize that was the case. I knew we'd done some work there, but I didn't know there was still work remaining. Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Any
And
other questions?
I'm sorry, it turned out
No,
very
go
nice.
ahead.
If you're around there, stop in. I'm sure the transportation folks would love to see you, but their facility is beautiful now.
Oh, good. That'll be fun to, they needed that for sure.
Yes, they did.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll see no other comments. We can move on to the consent calendar. And as indicated, there was one addition. With that in mind, I would ask if there are any other items that board members have a question or would like to have removed for separate consideration. Okay, seeing no hands, I look for a motion to approve the consent.
First of all, I apologize. I think we do need to pull one item for separate consideration because it's a personnel item, but maybe I'm wrong. Mrs. Harder, can you give us direction on that? The item, it's the
contracts.
The contracts, right, the extension. Couldn't think of the word extension for a second.
They have not had that happen in the past. They're part of the employee personnel report. So it's included on the EER that's published. So I don't think we need to pull it for separate consideration.
That's fine. Just wanted to double check. Thank you very much.
Thank
I'll
you,
move
Joanne.
the consent calendar, by the way.
Moved by Joanne, seconded by?
I'll second.
By Lauren Klatzker. Any more discussion or comments, questions? Okay, seeing none. Jenna, would you like to make your preferential vote, please?
I approve.
Thank you. And Ms. Harder?
Mrs. Bushy?
Aye.
Ms. Klatzker?
Aye.
Ms. Foley?
Aye.
Dr. Calhoun?
Aye.
And Dr. Jang?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that takes us to board member superintendent comments. Any board member comments? I do have a couple. One of them, I would just like to let those who are online with us tonight, and there's only 45 I see, the plan is to have our next meeting in person in the boardroom, as we did a few months ago when we were hybrid in the schools. The second announcement I would like to indicate, the Orange County School Boards Association every year gives an award called the Maureen DeMarco Award, and it's given to people in the community or educators or whatever who have contributed to public education. And this year, the committee decided to give that award to a collective group of the Orange County superintendents thanking them for the additional efforts and stress, et cetera, that they've put in with regard to the COVID. So anyway, there's a lot of people that could have gotten that award because everyone's certainly involved, but I thought it was nice that they acknowledged the people that are getting gray hair and retiring and whatever. So anyway, yeah. Okay, any other board member comments? Okay, with that.
A quick just happy Valentine's Day to everyone that's coming up this Sunday. And it's nice that we have a 3-day weekend.
That is nice. Are you celebrating?
Aren't we all?
There you go. With distance, right? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. That concludes our meeting. We will adjourn at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. I'll meet you, Lauren, soon in Chester.